This video is going to show you how to draw a pumpkin. So with the pumpkin having all these cross contour lines, we're trying to make it look as three-dimensional as our goal. So we're starting with this long kind of oval shape and just drawing lightly. I'm using gray paper because eventually I'll color it in using charcoal. And as my pumpkin as a reference here, I'm making some of these lines that connect back. So it's like they're just hugging around here. And at the angle that I see it from, I would just have about 3 on that side. And then on this side, start to wrap them around. And it'll look a little different depending on where you're looking at the pumpkin from. Can make this dim. And then little triangles that go around to the back. So then to give the pumpkin some more form, and I don't know if I really like the stem being so long. I might make the stem a little bit shorter. So then I'm going to start coloring in the bottom. And I have the light coming from the top. So I'm adding a nice crisp line and shadow to try to make each bump look like it's three-dimensional. So I make a harsh line, but then I blend that line out so it looks more like an edge and not just a line. If I left it just looking like a line, it would look more flat, and our goal is to make something that looks 3D and turn this flat shape into more of a form. I'm also playing around with some value or having it darker towards the bottom, but not quite as dark as I can go because I want to have a cast shadow later. So again, make a nice line. Wait for my pencil to resharpen. Blend that line out. So I'm treating each section like a little separate form because the pumpkin has some rounded bumps on it, and I'm trying to show that in the drawing. And since my pumpkin is orange and not black and white and gray like my paper here, I'm just looking at shadow, light and shadow, not looking at color, which is how we start to see value. And I'm also thinking about contrast, so I'm putting light next to dark. So you'll notice I haven't blended any of this at this point. I'm just using pencil pressure. And then I'm gonna put some of the lines that are twisted from the pumpkin stem. And then to make it look more three-dimensional, I'm putting some of the highlights up top. As I get down towards the middle, I'm going really light with the pressure, so I get a few different values in there, and leaving the gray right towards the middle. If I were to blend this a little bit, I don't want to go all the way up into the white, otherwise it'll just look dirty. Sometimes you might need to go back and add a little black. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white and let some of this gray and black charcoal blend in together. Go back and touch up anything that needs to be touched up. So a lot of times with charcoal, or anytime drawing, you're just going back and forth, observing, taking a moment, look at it, see what could use a little bit more value. There's few spots on here that I left just totally gray right towards the middle of everything. Everything else, I have a gradual value of going really dark to light. And then that last step, since I have a shadow or light coming from the top, I have a cast shadow that's going around the bottom of the pumpkin. That's why I didn't want to go completely as dark as possible at the bottom of the pumpkin. Now I'm trying to make that shadow really dark and then feather that out. I'm going to wrap it around the back of the pumpkin a little bit too. And then feather it out. If I wanted to, you could add a little bit of background to make it really pop too. Your finger can work good to just blend some of that, but you don't have to add the background. Don't forget to sign it.